It's time for round 2 for 2017. Overlook Horizon 6 is launching today. Hey guys, Tori here from Overlook Horizon. It's flight day for our second flight of 2017. Overlook Horizon 6, nicknamed Shredder. The name Shredder for this flight represents today's primary objective, which is to obtain photos and video of the moment the balloon bursts at the peak of its journey. To date, all of our flights have used horizontal-facing cameras on opposite sides of the payload boxes, which has captured great footage so far. However, one thing has been lacking, which is that we've never actually seen the balloon burst. The balloon burst event during the flight is typically the most violent event of the flight. When you look at our payload boxes, you'll notice that everything is secured and held down inside. Many people think it's tightly secured for landing when the box hits the ground. Sure, this is definitely a consideration, but really it's the balloon burst event that we're securing the payload for. As our weather balloon travels away from the surface of the Earth, the air pressure outside the balloon decreases. This decrease in pressure means that there's less force keeping the balloon contained, and so helium inside the balloon continues to push outward, which causes the balloon to expand. The latex balloons we use for our flights are designed to stretch for just this reason, but they're also designed to break at a certain point. The higher the balloon travels, the more the balloon stretches until finally, the balloon breaks and down it comes. When the balloon finally breaks, the gas inside will rapidly try to escape the balloon. The balloon might simply tear and let the gas out of one big gaping hole, but it's pretty common for the balloon to actually shred into many pieces. Another common result is that the balloon will be thrust violently away from the escaping gas. This can be problematic for balloon flights because if the balloon is being violently thrown, typically it will take the payload box with it. That can cause the onboard items to break, tear, be thrown around inside, or it can simply just pop the batteries loose for our radio tracker. One of the things we do to protect ourselves from this violent event is secure everything inside. But we also use a really long payload train. There's about 40 feet of string separating the balloon from the parachute, and then another 15 feet more from the parachute to the payload box. This longer train allows less force from that burst event to be translated down to the payload box. This longer train doesn't come without trade-offs though. Once the balloon does burst, we now have 40 feet of string and mangled balloon pieces hanging freely from our descending payload. It's not usually much of an issue for us, but if you followed our last flight, it was this bit of dangling material that snagged the high voltage power lines just before landing. We're already working on a cutaway system to cut this section free once the balloon bursts, so keep an eye out for that next year. Finally, this flight will be using a 1,200 gram balloon, which is quite a bit larger than our previous 600 and 800 gram balloons. Normally this would mean a longer flight, but it might not today. Today's predicted landing zone has been flirting with areas heavily populated with tall trees. We're going to do our best to stay out of some of the state forests that surround our landing area, so in order to control this, we'll be adjusting the ascent rate right up until launch time. A faster ascent rate will give us a shorter flight, but that will lower our maximum achievable altitude. A slower ascent rate will give us a longer flight, and we can achieve a higher altitude since there's less helium in the balloon. Today's flight time will sit somewhere between 2 hours and 20 minutes on the low end and upwards of 3 hours on the high end. Check out the description below for the ascent rate details after the flight. So that's what's in store for today's flight. As the weather starts to warm up, we welcome anyone in the local Rochester, New York area to come check out one of our flights and learn about our high altitude balloon flight process. After today, we've got 3 more flights for 2017. So make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date on those flights. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our live broadcasts, in-flight videos, or the educational series videos we'll have in between flights. So what do you guys think about today's flight? Do you think we'll get a good shot of that balloon burst, or do you think we'll end up in a tree? Only time will tell, so let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this flight and you like what we do, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to learn more about today's flight, check out the links in the description below. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.